Is everybody ready? Everybody's ready to go? Okay. First of all, I want to apologize. A lot of folks have tried to get a hold of me this morning. As you can imagine, I've been very busy. I just now, after this is over, will be able to try to check my messages and send some stuff out. Today at the news conference, I'm going to give a brief statement. The sheriff's office is going to give a brief statement. Before we get started again, we want to make sure that the families of the victims understand that our thoughts and prayers are with them throughout this very tragic crime, and we're thinking about them. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with them. Let's get started here. Early this morning, detectives from the Indiana State Police Post at Versailles arrested David Ison. The arrest was an arrest that stemmed from a separate case, actually a case that started back on May the 8th of this year, where that David Ison had allegedly robbed attempted robbery of a pharmacy in Osgood, Indiana. When David attempted to rob that pharmacy, he left some DNA there at the scene. Our evidence technicians at the State Police Post of Versailles was able to get that DNA, get it sent off. We were able to make a positive match of David Ison from that DNA. As our officers set surveillance on David Ison last night, I know a lot of you folks heard this on the radio, on the scanner. I got a lot of calls about standoffs and that stuff. There was a traffic stop made. It was actually at US 52 in Andersonville here in Franklin County. That's where we picked up David Ison. David Ison was then transported to the Ripley County Jail. David Ison is being held in the Ripley County Jail on the charges of attempted armed robbery, which is a B felony. Now, as a result of that arrest, our detectives were able to learn some information about the 5 murders here in Franklin County on Stips Hill Road. With the information they gained from the arrest, they did a subsequent search warrant at a residence in Fayette County. Along with that information they gained from their search warrant, along with the information gained from the arrest, our detectives, and also spoke with the sheriff about this, we feel fairly confident that we have a very good person of interest in the murders that happened up on Stips Hill Road. Now, I want to reiterate that again, we have a person of interest. What we want to make sure is that we keep all of our options open. This is a very active investigation. We are continuing to follow all tips and leads. Again, we have one person of interest in custody in Ripley County. If things develop, and hopefully things will develop as this case goes on, if we can make other arrests, obviously that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep our options open. Now, remember this, there has been no arrest made. No formal charges have been filed against David Ison here in Franklin County for the murders that took place on Stips Hill Road. That's a very, very important thing that we need to remember. He is just a person of interest at this time. We are calling him a person of interest. Right now, what I want to do is I want to turn this over to the sheriff. The sheriff's also got some comments that he wants to make. After he makes his comments, then we'll open it up for questioning for you, okay?
Thank you very much. You're going to have to work with me. I'm losing my voice, and Channel 13 promised me there wouldn't be any rain until about 4. But we'll work through that. First of all, I want to tell the citizens of Franklin County that I am very confident we have at least one individual in custody that's responsible for these shootings. I am basing that opinion on information I received following the arrest of David Ison. So I want the citizens to know that we do have an individual that we consider involved in this shooting in custody. Secondly, I'd like to thank the Indiana State Police for all the hard work they've put in, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, and virtually every law enforcement agency in the surrounding area. Having said that, I do not want you to believe that this investigation is over by any means. This is an ongoing investigation. We will continue interviewing individuals, witnesses, neighbors until we are 100% certain we have every individual who's involved in this shooting. So I want to thank the citizens of Franklin County for their prayers and the support that they've offered over the last few days. It's been extremely important, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Do you have a date of birth for David Ison?
We'll send that out. It'll come out on a news release after it's over. We will get you that, okay? Yeah.
Is there any way that the child is identified?
Right now, we're staying away from anything for the child. The child is on limits, off limits. The child is safe. Is the only thing we're asking about the child.
Jerry, what's causing you guys to make the link between what happened in Laurel and David Ison?
Okay. Well, like I said, after the arrest was made, our detectives had taken information that they had from tips from the citizens, which we are obviously thankful for. Along with that information, along with the information we gained during the arrest, along with information that was gained during the search warrant, our detectives was fairly confident that they had, like I said, at least a very good person of interest in this case. Obviously, as I say again, this is going to continue, and our detectives are continuing to work on this. Again, like I say, we've got some detectives that's had just a few hours sleep since this thing has happened. They've really worked their tails off, and my hats are off to those guys and gals that's been doing that, and we're going to continue to do that until this case is completely closed.
Do you have a firearm?
Right now, we're going to stay away from anything, again, that involves the investigative part. This is very early. As you know, we're right in the middle of this investigation. We don't want to give anything that could hurt the integrity of the investigation at all, so we're going to stay away from that still. Hold on just a second. Well, what we're saying is we're keeping our options open. We're saying that right now we're fairly confident that we have one person of interest in custody on separate charges. As we continue this investigation, if there are others that pop up, other persons that we think are involved, obviously we're going to make as many arrests on this as we can. This is a very heinous crime. This is one of the worst crimes probably, and I know in this county, but in all of southeastern Indiana, it's been in years. We want to make sure we get every single person responsible that has any responsibility in this crime to stand in the front of the courts for what their role or their involvement was in this crime. So however many it takes, that's how many people we're going to go after.
What has Mr. Eisen been charged with now?
Right now, Mr. David Eisen is charged with attempted armed robbery, which is a B felony in the state of Indiana, and he is being housed in the Ripley County Jail in Versailles.
Is that from the main?
That is from the incident on May the 9th that happened in Osgood, Indiana.
And what was that?
It was an attempted armed robbery at a Triplets, the name of the drugstore is Triplets Drugstore in Osgood, Indiana. Excuse me? Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to let the sheriff stand up and talk about that because he's actually done some research. He's familiar with that now, the criminal record.
We'll finish up with this. He has an extensive criminal record. We have had numerous contacts with him in our facility, including armed robbery, auto theft, counterfeiting, forgery, basically for the last 20 years. And I'll finish. We're going to close the news conference with this statement here. There's been an incredible amount of police work done in the last 2 or 3 days here. We've got boots on the ground around the clock. We're going to continue that effort, but I want to acknowledge the fact that the law enforcement agencies that have been involved in this have worked extremely hard, and we're going to continue to do so, but we are very confident in what we have right now. Thank you very much.
No, one thing I forgot to say. I'm sorry, hold on just a second, okay? One thing I forgot to tell you is that all of the information that we have gathered from our investigation so far up to this point will be forwarded to the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, obviously, for review. So I wanted to make sure we put that in. Just one last question. Go ahead.
How were you able to connect the DNA? At what point did you find DNA that didn't belong to the victims at the scene, and then take that DNA and compare it to your database?
Now, the DNA that I'm speaking about is dealing only with the attempted armed robbery at the store in Osgood.
Connected that to him, but not to this murder.
Absolutely not. That's why I'm striving to let you know that he is facing no formal charges in Franklin County for the 5 murders. We're saying he is a person of interest right now in that crime.
You have physical evidence that he committed. You have physical evidence.
We're not going to go into any kind of like I said, the investigative part of the investigation, any of that information. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.